Baruch Hashem. Rabbi Shai, thank you very much for your help. Shalom lekulam. Kabarim. Welcome once again to our limud. As usual, we start with Thaught from Ben Shchai. We haven't finished the Thaught on Parasha Kazariah and the Torah. Yesterday we left off at halakha number 12. We continue with halakha number 13. We know that we are dealing with the halakhot on Netilas Yadayim. The second, I think I have got the pages here. The pages of what we are going to learn today. The pages on halachot that we are going to deal with today is sent in the group, halakha number 13. It is permissible to wash one hand and to immerse the other hand, and one should recite the usual bracha, Netilas Yadayim, and not al-tivilat yadayim, according to all halakhic opinions. I also conclude in my work, Rav Palim, Orach Achaim, chapter 8. Rav or Rav? Oh, Pe'alim, yeah, okay. I did not see this small, yes. Thank you very much, Rabbi Pinchas. That if one has a wound on one hand, which may not become wet, and which one has covered completely with a bandage, and the one washes only one hand, one still recites the bracha, Netilas Yadayim, even though it refers to washing both hands. What is the difference between Netilas Yadayim and Tivilat Yadayim? It was explained. Missing the hand, but there's an exceptional if one has got a wound in one hand. You can remember what we have learned yesterday, that you cannot perform Netilas Yadayim in the pool, because the mikveh, you immerse, only in the pool you immerse yourself. It's not considered as a halakhically possible. Not that is halakhical possible. It's not halakhically permitted. But in this case, there's an exception that you immerse one of your hands if there is a wound in one hand. Halakha number 14, the water must be poured over the hands through human action, and that if it is poured by other means, it is not acceptable. I remember I was traveling sometime from my country of my birth and different countries. And it was in the bus. I could not, I do not have any vessel to use. So I use the tap. I open the tap and do alternate washing. This is what is meant here. That is what is meant here. But we will see how the halakha or the idea of this halakha is being developed here, or explained. But in a normal cases, it's not permitted to do that. Only the first gush of water from a tap is considered the result of human action. Clear? The water which is subsequently flows from the tap cannot be used for washing one's hand. Thus, those vessels common by that, which have a copper tap, which is opened by being turned to one side, do not give sufficient water to cover the entire hand. And they must be opened and closed several times in order to pour water over each hand. Halakha number 15. One should not allow a child under the age of 6 to pour water over one's hand, since because the act of pouring water must come from a human action. Is not a child a human? We will see. It must also be accompanied by an intention to pour the water, and a child under that age is incapable of necessary positive intention. Any answer? Halakha number 15 continues. The Acharonim writes that it is permissible to avoid allowing a non-Jew to wash one's hand. I repeated that. Acharonim write that it is preferable to avoid allowing a non-Jew to wash one's hand. Neither should one allow a woman who is a nida, even one's own sister or daughter, to wash one's hand. Neither should any other woman, not a relative. That is, not a relative, wash one's hand, even though she is not a nida. However, a non-Jew or a nida may bring the water for washing, but it is preferable to avoid this as well. You being a Jew cannot ask a non-Jew, oh, please pour me some water. Or I wanted to perform Netilas Yadayim. Asur. Do not force your wife. As we have learned yesterday, not that we have learned not to force not that we learned not to force your wife. But the implication of this halakha is that do not imply as you are forcing your wife during her nida to wash your hands for the purpose of Netilas Yadayim. When she is nida, she is nida. The Rabbi Pinchas went extensively in his limud yesterday that your wife is experiencing nida because of you, the husband. And nida is caused by the husband. So avoid, it says, the halakha says, she can bring water, but she cannot take that upon her, that role of pouring the waters on her hand for Netilas Yadayim. No. Halakha number 16. Food becomes defiled by contact with an impure body only after having come into contact with one of 7 liquids. What are those? Liquid, water, wine, including vinegar made from grapes, bees, honey. Once it has been separated from the wax, olive oil, milk in cooling way, dew, blood of an animal or bird, any other liquid, even if it has been prepared as a meal, such as a fruit, juice, cannot impart to food the potential to become defiled. Any other liquid, I repeat that, any other liquid, even if it has been prepared as a drink, not milk, previously I said milk, as a drink, such as fruit juice, cannot impart to food the potential to become defiled. But the other is named, is indicated, as enumerated there, can impart impurity. Halakha 16 continues. The 7 sorts of liquids mentioned above may become defiled without previously contact with other liquids. Before eating food which has been in any way of the 7 kinds of liquid listed above, or which has had one of those liquids poured over it, and there is still a word, one must wash one's hand. This applies even if one does not actually touch the part of the food which is wet, or if one eats it with a spoon. Nevertheless, one should not recite the bracha Netilas Yadayim, as our sages Zal only instituted this bracha before eating bread. Rabbi, am I connected to Facebook now, right? Halakha 16 continues. It is forbidden to eat blood of animal or bird, as it is written or prohibited in Vaikra, but the sages Zal included among the 7 kinds of liquid, as it may be eaten if necessary for medicinal purposes, when someone's life is in danger. The sages are very wise, Baruch Hashem. However, the blood of fish, although it may not be eaten, on its own, lest people think one is eating animal blood, is not one of the 7 liquids of liquids. I beg your pardon. Is not one of the 7 kinds of liquids. And one is not required to wash one's hand before eating fish, even if it has blood in it. Halakha number 17. One must wash one's hand before eating food, which has become into contact with a liquid, even if one eats less than a cat size. Size is a small, like olive. What is this now? No, I got it right. Thank you, Rabbi. A proof of this is that on Pesach, one must wash one's hand before eating a kaparat, even though it must be less than a katzai. Halakha number 18. One must wash one's hands before eating anything which has been cooked, soaked, or washed in any of the 7 liquids, and they is still wet. Although some authorities rule that cooked food may be eaten with a spoon without washing his hands, one should only rely on their opinion if it is very inconvenient to wash. One is not required to wash one's hand before eating. Food such as compote. What is compote? What is this kind of compote? Compote. I don't know what type of food it is, which is usually eaten with a fork or a spoon. Oh, well, maybe a Baghdad spoon. And which is considered bet manners to eat with one's hand, to the extent that one should not serve it if one could not give forks to eat with it, to eat with. Nevertheless, if the water content in food such as compote comprises the lesser portion, or about a half, and the major part of the dish is mostly solid food, such as fruit and sugar, one need not wash one's hands to eat it. The source of this halakha, a reference is also provided thereof. Halakha 19. It is not necessary to wash one's hands before eating cake dipped into any of the 7 liquids of the 7 kinds of liquids, if the latter has been boiled, and if one does not touch the liquid on the cake with one's hand. It is, however, most important to avoid touching the part of the food which is wet. Although the Chida reproves those who eat cake dipped into coffee without washing their hands first, this only applies if one touches the liquid. One need not wash one's hand before drinking any of the 7 kinds of liquid, but one must wash one's hand before dipping one's finger into any of the into any of them and licking it. You cannot just, what's happening here now? Rabbi Akiva. Something went wrong here. Can you help me out, please? How come this?
Okay. That is interesting.
Good. What went wrong?
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know. Sorry for this technology. Comes with challenges also. Yeah, so you cannot simply dip your finger into something and without, you have to perform Netilas Yadayim even if you are not reciting the bracha. One must also wash one's hand before drinking water. From one's cupped hands. Some authority rule that it is not necessary to wash one's hand before licking liquid from one's finger or drinking from one's cupped hand. Those who do not do so have on whom to rely, but it is certainly correct to wash one's hand wherever possible. Halacha number 20, the last one for today on the Pasha of last week that we did not finish. Butter is not considered a liquid. That is, even though it is derived from milk, as long as it is solid. But when it melts, it's considered liquid. Pure alcohol made from grain or fruit is not considered a liquid, as it is merely the result of distillation. Some authorities require that one wash one's hand before eating roast meat, which is wet from its own juice, while others do not require it. One may rely on the lenient opinion in this matter. This is halacha or halachot on Netilas Yadayim. Since we do not have a participant on online, Besat Hashem, so well. I hope the halachot, Netilas Yadayim, wanted to assume that everything is clear. We are going to our main limud. Continuing with our famous letter, the letter of Ramban, the letter of ethics, the letter of morals, the letter on emunah to enable us in navigate this world. Some called this world a bad world, an evil world. But Hashem said, what he has created, everything that he has created, he saw that it's good. Yesterday, we gave a summary of what we did last week. And then we also dealt with portion number 12. I wanted to continue where we have left off yesterday. On the portion number 12. But before I do that, permit me to ask some probing questions. Because we dealt with the word olam, the world. In English, we have got the word olam, world. You've got a word universe. But it appears that in Hebrew, you've got only one word, olam. Right, Professor Rabbi Akiva? We've got only one word. I also said yesterday, the Hebrew words are not just seeing an animal there and they started drawing. They have got, they are what I have learned from my Rosh Yeshiva here in Butsina Kadisha. He said to us once upon a time, the letters are traces of the light. The light, yes, light. Everything is light. Everything is light. Everything that we see in this world are light, traces of light. So the combination of the beauty of the Hebrew language is that the letters are combined and are combined. There is a way of combining Hebrew letters. It's not, I'm not at that level of combining Hebrew letters. Moshe, who received the Torah, received that tradition. How the letters, the Hebrew letters are combined to form a word. And the secret behind that combination, the secret of an individual letter, behind the individual letter, and the secret behind that combination. Having said that, the word olam is not a word that just incidentally or randomly created. There is a secret behind it. Each letter and the word itself. And we touched part of it yesterday. But before we continue where we have left off yesterday, I wanted to remind ourselves that human being, is the formation of a human being from the Jewish perspective, from the Torah perspective. Our sages say he is a small world, olam katan. What does that really mean? I wanted to repeat what I have said in one of our limudim. What did I say? Or what did our sages have said? Because man is a replica of what we call the arrangement, the alignment of the 10 Sephirot. It's not the opposite, that the Sephirot were organized according to the body of man. It's the body of man and his entire structure that is formed in accordance with the arrangement of the Sephirot. this gives us, if man is a small world, then it tells us that this world has got a system. It is a system that governs, rules everything in this world. The system that governs man, the system that governs the other lower world, like animals, the system that governs the vegetation, the system that governs the minerals. These orders are systems. And I'm going to the system of man. Let's go to our usual, not our usual topic, but to the topic we have dealt with yesterday, the word olam. Bear in mind, no, maybe before I get there, bear in mind, we are talking about humility. It's only when you recognize your own fragility, fragile, right? It's only when you recognize that you are not truly yourself and nothing is in your hand. Only when you recognize that there is a supreme power somewhere there, a reasonable person could look at what is happening in the world. For example, the world of man, the world of animal, the world of tree, that nothing truly governs by itself. Everything is influenced. And nothing is in our hand. Only once you recognize that, you will start now acquiring the trait called Anava, humility. Then you and I will stop becoming arrogant. Portion number 12. וכאשר תתענג במידת הענווה להתבושש מכל אדם ולהתקפחת ממנו. When your action display genuine humility, when you stand meekly before men and fearfully before God. The commentary given that we did not touch yesterday. Again, the commentator who provided the commentary on the letter of Ramban provided different sources. But on this source that I'm about to read now, he quoted Mesilat Yesharim. You remember last week, I have mentioned that for us, Botsina Kadisha, we do not go according to this, but does not mean we disapprove what is being written there, because all what we are going by and what is written there in the book referred to here is about Tikkun Midot. It's about fixing our midot. Within the system, we have been caused to exist. The commentator writes, or Messias Mesilat Yesharim, write that although God has endowed every individual with unique abilities, one should not become unduly proud on their account. Do not your abilities. We have got, every human being has got unique abilities. Maybe your abilities in a language, to grasp languages. Maybe your ability is to do ABC. There are so many things. Do not take pride in any of those abilities, because they do not belong to you. They were only entrusted to you. This does not apply only into religion or in the world of Torah. It applies even in a non-Torah world. I remember from the country of my birth, one politician, peace upon him, came to me. It was during his political campaign. I still remember so very well. He said to me, you know, brother, I'm looking for vote. Don't vote to this. They do not even know, they do not have that, expertise to table the bill in parliament. I said, what is the big issue? A person can learn. I give that an example. I could give many examples. We see this thing in life. Don't take pride in those abilities or those faculties. They are not yours. The commentator going on. Each advantage was meant to be shared. Share it, like my Rosh Yeshiva here in Botsina Kadisha. He said, don't just learn and keep what you have learned to yourself. Share it, because that is the purpose of learning. You remember the system that I talked about? The system about the 70 kings. It's a system. Why am I calling it a system? Because nothing that comes into this world unless it's through that system, 70 kings, 70 Sephirot. Nothing. Why were they broken? Why they were shattered? Is because each one of them considered itself, for itself, by itself, what is imparted to us here in Botsina Kadisha. That is what we try to our level best. Rabbi Pinchas even taught and said, do not compare rabbis. No, I may not have that acumen. I may not have that ability to cause the stars from heaven to earth, or to see things that are hidden under the ground. But does not mean that I do not have, or what I'm saying is less important than what others have. I accept my lot, my portion in this life. And I try to improve that portion of mine on a daily basis. This is the character trait we are encouraged in the letter of Rambam to acquire, to recognize, and to appreciate the Creator. We go on. One who is wealthy may rejoice in his lot, but at the same time, he must help those in need. I've just said it. And the Rabbi Pinchas, thank God, I was privileged to come in contact with him. He makes me to become a leader, to see my own potential. Unlike in others wanted me to become a follower. A leader, not a leader of other people. First, a leader starts with yourself. If one is strong, he must assist the weak. The situation of the world that we will deal with in a few minutes. The situation of the world is similar to a large household where there are many different servants assigned to different tasks. Each servant must fulfill his own appointed call. If the affairs and the needs of the household are to be managed properly, there is only one room for, there is really no room for pride here. Further on, the Mesrat Yesharim develops an axiom to monitor one's response to fortune. As one's wealth increases, his pride should wane. But we see in our world is the opposite. When my wealth increases, even my pride increases. It should, according to the sages, it should be the opposite. When my wealth is increased, in other words, my humility, I should have humility. In our world, when I say wealth, we remember in the Psalms that we quoted sometime that says the only treasure a person has is the fear of Hashem. That's the only treasure. But when sometimes many of us, regardless of profession, even in the Torah world, the more your Torah knowledge increases, just watch. Rabbi Pinchas taught me something. Just watch the expression of those. If a person harbors arrogancy, just listen to what they have to say. Particularly those of their students. And he wanted me from the very beginning at the time I started teaching at this platform. He said to keep it. Don't become arrogant. Why? Because it's the attitude of men when they become proficient in something. What do they develop? I don't have time. I've got much more important things to do. I don't have time, meaning to stand with you, to explain to you, even at the level, to explain things to you at the level of a child who starts speaking. I don't have that time. Aha. Hashem said, He is your shadow. What does that mean? It means the way you acted to your fellow man, heaven mishat back to you. And as a matter of fact, those who are, for example, like they are worth in terms of money and property, be careful when you become rich also. Because it says the Russia also is being paid fully in this world for a little mitzvah he has done. Be careful, don't become pride. I wanted to stop with a commentary here. Let's go to the world, to the system of the world, because the time is running for me. Time is running out. I'm running off time, not the time is running out, but I'm running out of time. Chaverim, we have learned yesterday about the word olam. I said the word olam, if I remove vav, all right, vav, in the middle of ayin and the lamed, the ayin, the gematria value is 70, which is also hinting to the very system that I have talked about, 7 kings. And the last two letters, lamed and mem, the gematria value is also 70, which is also a hint to the same thing. Our world is a system, not that is the only, but one of the system is the system of 70. So the gematria value, if I return vav back, the gematria value is 141. Now, if I transform this number 141 into letters, then I have got a kuf, right? And I have got mem. And if I return the verb that I have taken before, I have got the word kum. What is kum? What if I tell somebody to get up? Kum, get up. If men, what? Yeah. if men is a world katan, is a olam katan, a small world, what is he being hindered to? This is my chidush. What is being hindered to here? He must get up. His mission is to elevate the world. To elevate the world to where? Where it has fallen from. Simple like that. So now, watch me again. Makom, yeah. Makom.
What is makom?
Makom is also another name of Hashem. Yes, Baruch Hashem. Toda Rabba Rabbi Pinchas. Makom. Baruch Hashem. It's good to teach in front of your rabbi. Very, very good. So now we have seen the gematria value of the 4 letters of spelling the word olam. Let's go to the milui of each letter of these 4 letters. We have seen that ayin is the milui. This is milui. Ayin, yud, nun. We can we can rearrange the letters of the milui of that letter to spell the word ain, ani, meaning poor, right? But we know that we have learned last week that again, this word is also an acronym. What is acronym? The letters read the initial letters of the three words. Okay, what are those? Al, Netilas, Yadayim. Remember, we were just learning the halachot according to Ben Shchai on Netilas Yadayim. This letter only give us all this, and there is not all. It's because of just because of time. Let's go to. Remember, I gave yesterday. I said the shoresh, meaning the source of the word olam, is only 3 letters. Alam. You can read it that way. Alam. So I am capitalizing on the source of that word olam. So lamed. When you look at lamed, the milui of lamed, it gives us lamed mem dalet. The gematria value is 74. Do you remember the Shema? The Shema, you remember, it's, and also Alenu Lashabeach. You find dalet, and you find ain at the beginning, at the end of each and every of these passages. What is ad? We can change the position, and we on what is ad? Ad is a witness, right? Ed, yeah, Ed. Baruch Hashem, Toda, not ad. Ed is a witness. Who is a witness here? The world? Meaning men? Yes. In my own chidush, yes, you are a witness. Because that is what we always say every day. Now, look at this. Look at this. Tzadikim tzadakot. You have got mem. The milui of mem, it gives us 8, right? Give us 80. Not 8, but 80. What is 80 if we transform it into a letter? P. Not P. In fact, there are 3 ways of writing the P. 3 ways is when you write it P, Yud. Second, P, Hey. Third, P, Aleph. I wanted to go with this one. P, H, which is a mouth of a human being. Tzadikim, everything about the word olam, it's about a man. It refers only to you and I. A witness must, appearing in court, must be able to say something. The mouth. But be careful. Only 3 minutes left, because that's the time I started. Be careful about you. To be a witness is okay, because a witness is a witness. You don't sometimes decide to become a witness. A witness is a witness. But a witness must be very careful what he says and how he says things. Meaning, like we have learned this morning, When you lie, this is in a connection with teshuvah. Stop lying. When you talk too much, stop abusing the mouth and the tongue. Remember the halachot we have learned in the very same book. He says Hashem is not just punishing you for you for having spoken lashon hara. Even the energy that you have used to use that mouth that should have been used in the things of kedusha. Be careful here. Remember, Netilas Yadayim, we are not, friend, we very often say, we are taking granted of those halachot that appears symbol to us. But who told you that the world cannot be elevated by that symbol halakha that you see as a symbol halakha? Netilas Yadayim only. There is a deeper meaning. Like for example, look at it, the word pe. The second letter pe. Hey, the gematria value is 5. But these are the same letters appear. This is the same letter appearing in the name Havaya. You have got 5 fingers. Each hand has got 5 fingers. And then remember, those 5 fingers, they contain how many bones? 14 bones in each and every hand. Remember, the other hand also has got 14. Together is 28. Another aspect of my personal chidush is that the first pasuk of Bereshit consists of 28 letters. Wish to see you again, Chaverim. I wanted to end here because of my time. I wanted to end here. Thank you very much for affording me the time to share with you. Best of Hashem, we shall continue our remote on Yom Chamishi. Thank you very much. Baruch Adonai, Leolam, Amen ve'amen. Toda rabba. I don't know. I wish I could speak French. The red one, Nachon?